Today, Bioworks published a report for the first half of 2023, and with me today here in the digital studio, I have its CEO, it's Jonathan Royce. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
It's good to have you back. I thought we'd go ahead and open the report right away. Net sales for the first half of the year were 22% higher than 2022, coming in at 22.1 million SEK. Growth in Europe and North American markets, however, a stochastic decline in Asian markets. I thought you could begin by elaborating a little bit on what drove these developments during the period.
Yeah, we continue to see really good growth of our customer base in the US and Europe, specifically in the US, where we have, for the last few years, made a big commitment to our commercial team. And we also have made inroads with some very key customers for us, including a manufacturer of plasmids for the cell and gene therapy market that's using one of our customized resins in our newly launched GoBio format. The Asian market, we have essentially one major customer in Asia, which we've announced previously in India. That customer has been continuing to use product that they purchased towards the end of 2022. We do expect some more orders for them later this year, as well as some new customers that we see some exciting developments with, specifically in the Indian and Korean markets. So we do think that the Korean market will come back, but when you're in a transitional phase and have a small number of large customers in a particular market, looking quarter to quarter or even half year to half year can be a bit lumpy.
In the report, you give us figures for North America and Europe, and net sales grew there by 30%, but there's no figure of the Asian market. Could you specify?
Sure. I think there is actually a table about the geographic spread, but I can just review that in the Asian market, the sales in 2022 were just over 2 million SEK, and in the first half of 2023, they were just around 500,000 SEK. So it was a decline, although the absolute numbers are not huge compared to the total sales that we booked in the first half of the year.
Even though the effect of these sales were described as stochastic, I'm still curious if you could give us an update on how the Asian market is faring for you.
Yeah, I think it's going well. We are, as I said, seeing some new developments with some large customers that we think are going to place orders in the second half of the year. So that feels very, very positive. And we have good relationships with our existing customers. I was in India in June and visited some of those clients. I also have been in Korea in July and visited some customers there. So I think we have good relationships, positive developments, and I do expect to see that market recover, that geographic market recover in the second half of the year.
You're expecting then that the Asian market recovers in the second half of the year, and you're also seeing signs that the demand is also going to return to normal. You described that in the first half of this year, demand has suffered due to partly a weaker capital market, but also pharmaceutical companies right-sizing inventory. Could you elaborate not only on the Asian market, but all your markets on the signs of recovery that you're currently seeing?
Yeah, I think it can often be normal after a period of supply chain disruption like we had during the pandemic to see companies build inventories of products, and that can then cause them to try to right-size those inventories when the situation returns to more normal lead times and more normal stability. And then also I think that the weakened capital market in the first half of the year certainly affected small and medium-sized companies who maybe delayed some of the investments that they otherwise would have made, or certainly were more cautious with their money than what they've been when capital's been flowing more freely into the market. But I do think that there are signs that things are starting to recover. Inventory corrections usually do not last in this industry more than 6 months as companies consume inventory and then need to return to a sort of more steady state. If you look at the capital markets, there have been 7 IPOs in the US in the biotech industry in the last 6 months. The most recent was a company called Intensify Therapeutics here. And those IPOs are really, that flow of capital into these small and medium-sized companies is really important for growth for all sorts of suppliers in the industry, both large and small, but especially for smaller companies like Bioworks, where the majority of our customer base is still in some sort of clinical development stage.
7 biotech companies IPO'd in the US. Any potential customers?
Of course. Every company that becomes that enters the market is certainly a company that could be a potential user of Bioworks resins. Our products are, in some cases, very specialized, but in other cases, they are very much applicable, regardless of the modalities and applications that these biotech companies are exploring. So we see good potential with any sort of new company that enters the market, and any sort of new clinical project that gets started up within our existing customer base as well.
Something you're also looking forward to is some changes to the FDA processes. You write that reportedly FDA will now grant breakthrough statuses to so-called ATMPs. Is there any indication of when this will take place?
So that information came to me through a report from one of the FDA directors who was at an industry meeting here in the US in June. My understanding was that that initiative is really already underway. ATMPs are often targeting what are called orphan indications. That means these are illnesses that people have that are not currently addressed by other therapeutics, or there are situations where there really needs to be a much better method of dealing with those illnesses. So the FDA is really pushing hard on companies to try to address those illnesses and bring better care to patients. And that's also going to help drive more innovation in the industry, and I think more activity in the clinical manufacturing space, which will be good for suppliers like Bioworks.
Can you elaborate on what this means for Bioworks?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that any time that there's an increased amount of activity in new modalities, that is to say new structures that are being used to treat disease, that's very good for Bioworks, because we're very much focused on these new modalities. We're focused on developing and customizing resins that really address the needs of that market. And I would be less excited if there was some sort of initiative to increase the amount of traditional biologics on the market, because many of those processes are already set. But these new modalities, there's a much more open playing field, and that creates a much better potential for a new player like Bioworks in the market to succeed.
And as you're also moving forward, a cost reduction plan has been set into motion. You're decreasing the number of employees by 12 and aim to save 13 million SEK annually. And this is without impacting growth potential. Could you tell us how you find that balance?
Yeah, we've had to really focus our activities on the things that are core to our business. So we've had several development projects that have been ongoing internally that are meant to bring either technology or products to market, let's say in the 18 to 24 month span. Some of those projects we have delayed right now, and that's really to focus on the core business and the things that are driving growth in the near term so that we can achieve our growth of profitability. And we will take those programs up again when we reach that point, but we think that the responsible thing to do right now is really focus on the core growth segments. We also have found some additional cost savings potential within our organization, that are not headcount related. So certain services that we've been able to let go, and also some areas where we're able to consolidate some of the things we were doing and save costs by essentially getting out better efficiency in the way we're doing things.
Jonathan Royce, CEO of Bioworks, thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you. Have a good day.